How are we all doing this week?
Welcome back to this
After a long time.
fantastic-
Come on, I know. Literally, I was getting like separation anxiety from you boys.
Good times.
Can't believe it. But obviously, it's been a while, guys, since we posted for you. It's just that we've had a lot of background work, just trying to improve our episodes and get a formula that works for you and also works for us. And I feel like we're on that journey, and hopefully, we're going to continue to provide you with these beautiful, beautiful topics for you to enjoy on a weekly basis. So getting back to business, Man Up For What is a men's mental health podcast, and we aim to tackle certain stigmas and bring you real stories from real people. And on a weekly basis, we're going to be tackling one topic. And this week is a little bit of a tougher one, and I just want to make a quick disclaimer for everybody out there listening. We are not experts. We are from different walks of life. We are literally here to give you our stories. As we said, real people, real stories. We're not saying everything we say is set in stone, is real facts. We're not diagnosing anyone here. It's just we're trying to let you know that there is other people in the same situation as you, and we're going to do our best to try and make things better for you. So, guys, just to get things kicking this week, I just want to take you down. It's like Shark Week. I love this. Rashid's retail adventures. I love it. I love that story time. So this week, guys, basically, I was talking to Labs, and he just said he wanted to go and get some new threads for himself. So we must have gone out. He was getting some running trainers for himself, and I considered getting it, but obviously, bank account is tight. So basically, I was like, you know what? Well, I just literally had a little background thought of when I was actually looking for myself for a new bunch of running trainers. And I must have told the lady, listen, these are the trainers I'm kind of looking for. This is the idea. And then she's like, okay, what do you have now in comparison to this, just so we understand? And I just went, I want something springy like this exactly. And I got my Nike Fly Knits. And as you guys know, there's lots of different colorways. You get rainbow color, you get black, white, grey, is whatever it is. And my one had a little smeg of pink on it. Just a little bit of splat. And she literally was like, it's got a little bit of pink on it. I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, okay, then you wanted something a little bit more manly. And I was like, yeah, here we go again, bro. We're about to go street fire in the streets again. Like, every time I go shopping, man, listen, people, stick to online shopping. You'll be a much happier person. I literally just thought to myself, is the same thing happening again, is people just figuring out who I am based off what I'm wearing or my color in terms of who I am. And I thought it's not just women who do this, it's also men. And sadly, it's a lot more with men than women when it comes to men. That's just how it is. We're competitive creatures. But I just thought, you know what? Maybe let's talk about this. Have you guys had any experiences kind of like that?
Yeah, I would say toxic masculinity has been around for a while. Can't say I've experienced it. Probably have firsthand, but don't remember like on the spot a situation. But yeah, I think like I was saying to you before, off the podcast, like I think we're conditioned to toxic masculinity from a young age. As from school times, I think we're conditioned to be a man, or these are what men do. Like even during PE and stuff, like when you're doing PE and stuff, like you do manly sports, innit? You didn't go play netball or go and play rounders. You went to play football, or you went to play rugby, you went to play these kind of sports. You didn't do gymnastics because it wasn't man enough. I mean, gymnastics is a very hard sport, and anyone that does it is mad commendable, because it is one of the hardest sports you can do. There's nothing wrong with it, but we were just never put towards. You never felt comfortable stepping into that role. Well, I never did anyway. Being
even trampolining.
Yeah, you felt a bit odd doing it.
It's a bit, you got to make certain shapes and certain hip movements.
I just want to go high. I want to see some sights, man. Like, what's going on here?
I've actually got a story about like toxic masculinity, but and it's from back in school. And you guys might remember this incident as well. I'm not going to mention the names of the culprits.
Before we delve in, we're not ready for season 1 just yet. Just so for the listeners who are listening, sorry guys, that was just me. I just want to let everybody know exactly what the definition of toxic masculinity, just to give some sort of context to Archie's story. So there's the trailer, Archie. Thank you very much. It's coming. Give it a few seconds, people. So basically, toxic masculinity is defined as a set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men, regarded as having a negative impact on men and on society as a whole. And I think pretty much all of us have pretty much experienced that. Even if some of our female listeners as well, I'm pretty sure you have experienced that. Brothers, husbands, dads have probably seen that around as well. So sorry, Archie, go and continue.
Yeah, so the story, we could tell a number of stories about,
So many.
like, in the PE, like in PE change rooms, obviously that one where Like someone would turn the lights off, everyone would start fighting.
That was mad.
Like, that's toxic masculinity as well.
Yeah, because you're trying to fight,
There's
trying to hold your
civilians
ground.
in the like change rooms. They're not on fighting. They just want to get changed and go to PE.
There's one kid scared of the dark
lights are
in the
off,
corner.
So everyone's got
and you're swinging. But so that's one example. But the other one that I was thinking of initially was, so one of our friends was getting changed.
Okay.
And it was a cold day, like very cold day, innit? So he had he had long johns on, innit?
Oh, okay.
And then like soon as like he took his trousers off and people saw the long johns, they just started mocking. It was like, it was laughing for time, innit? I was involved in a banter as well.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of like, obviously next day he wasn't wearing the long johns, isn't
It's
it?
true.
And now like man has to be cold because he got laughed at for wearing long johns when it's cold. So wearing long johns makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
He's being practical.
But and that's like an example of toxic masculinity.
That's a great example. At the time, we didn't think that was anything bad. We just thought it was men doing banter. That's what I'm saying. We're conditioned. We don't understand these things until now. We look back and we're like, wait, that's actually quite bad. What we were doing, kind of thing.
I think it's a lot of naivety as well, especially as a kid. I think that's what it is with like lots of us. Because I even think about it, Archie. You remind me of that the situations where you're trying to leave your mum, and your mum's saying, "Are you dressing for fashion or are you dressing for practicality?" Exactly. And I'm like, nah. When you're younger, I think you just look at things like at a very, very different angle.
Yeah.
And I think it does take a lot of emotional maturity for you to be like, oh, okay, that was dumb. Yeah. That guy was. We were out here freezing. He was warm. He was nice.
I don't know if you guys remember who it was as well, but it was. It's a sensible guy.
I get
it's very true. You remember?
Yeah. But thinking back, it's kind of like it feels sad, because it probably did affect that person mentally. When you think about it, they probably felt a type of way because
next day they came in.
They went home and they think, oh, I can't wear my long johns, so I'm gonna get laughed at. But
came home with sniffles and the rest of us.
Yeah, but you see with these things, it's what causes a lot of you can kind of say loneliness and separation within people. It's very tough, especially going to school or when you're in an environment where you've got to see the same people the same day, having that anxiety of feeling oh crap, people are gonna make fun of me and this and that, and people don't realize, when you're young, you don't realize how this affects people long term. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess for me, I always kind of thought about when I was young, with me, I never really thought about things that make you more of a man. I just thought whatever I did was cool. I genuinely thought doing gymnastics was cool. I never and going trampolining was cool. I thought doing flips on that is cool. When you're young, sometimes not everyone's into sports like that. You know what I'm saying? When you're not part of that conversation, or when you're not able to contribute to a conversation about football, sometimes you might feel a bit left out in it. But then I guess one of the best things that you can do if you're in that situation is let's say just do you, innit, and not care what no one thinks, innit. So for example, I used to do a lot of things that required independence and not rely on people to do it with me, innit. Such as drawing and creating music and all that. If that all makes sense, compared to doing sports, things that involve teamwork, innit. I'm not trying to say I'm a selfish person, but
you played rugby, didn't you?
Yeah, I played rugby as well. I played rugby, and I like making music with people, and I wrote a lot of poetry when I was young as well. But I guess that these little things that I was doing wasn't really considered manly like that. But I guess I didn't really think about these things. You know what I mean? However, one example of toxic masculinity was when I was trying to open up to someone close to me about how I'm feeling, anxiety. Someone told me, I can't say who it is, but told me to man up. But what does that even mean? If me asking you to explain to me what does that mean? He can't even explain it. You know what I mean?
How do you man up? What do you mean by man up?
What do you have?
What's the process of manning up?
I guess it's just a common term that's thrown around when someone doesn't know what to kind of say or don't know how to. They don't want to kind of have that conversation with you. They're like, "I'll just man up," because it's an easy thing, innit? It's wrong, but it's an easy thing to do.
It is quite sad. It is really sad. And I actually have a question for you, because you mentioned as as when you were younger. You were a bit more of a creative, and we know that you're a bit more of a creative. And it's very true what you are saying. At a younger age, people considered that as not very masculine. Is that something you experienced as well? Because like you said, you just went about your business.
Yeah,
does that mean you actually experienced it? Or?
I think, because I always just kind of minded my own business, innit? I was quite introverted in school. But it was only until I got to a certain point, like where I started being like around a lot of people, like when I was older, when I experienced someone trying to tell me to man up, when I was trying to be open about how I felt. But then I guess that with like me being a creative, like I used being a creative to kind of express how I feel in it, you know what I mean? And it was just always like a natural thing. Like I'm quite open about how I feel in it, because I feel like it's a way for myself to kind of release like thoughts from my mind, so I have more space for my mind to think, to overcome like overthinking and all that, and negative thoughts and all that.
Of course,
you know what I mean. So yeah, I feel like I've learned that like being more independent by myself, like I'm more at peace in myself, innit? You get me? But yeah, like toxic masculinity, man, it causes a lot of separation. And like when you've been conditioned from a young age to at a certain point, like for example, like show anger and like not cry, like it's very effective in a negative way when that person grows up. Like that person, for example, like as a boy, like you probably get told to never cry in front of other people, and then like when you meet like the love of your life, like she'll ask you like what's wrong, and then like because you've been conditioned to like not express how you feel, like the missus will feel disconnected, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of underlying.
A lot of underlying. Something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like we are just hoping, guys, hopefully for those who are listening, that we'll be able to just break that stigma, that people understand that us as men, it's not that we're not caring, it's not that we're not compassionate or not emotional, it's just what's sad is these traits that are considered not masculine in society in regards to men is just not valued. It's really quite sad, and that's
society for you, though.
That is society, and it's really deep in terms of us as a man. As in, you're expected to be, if there's like, for example, if there's like a divorce or something that's going down, as a man, it's a lot of the time you're expected to just grit your teeth and just be like, this is how it is. And I know it's hard. It is very, very hard. And it shouldn't be like that, because we both are at least going through something ourselves. And I think that when it comes to the toxic masculinity trait, is exactly like you guys said, as you're getting older, it changes a lot. And I think as we've gotten older, there's still that level of toxic masculinity, no matter what it is. And there's lots of different examples I think you guys have experienced yourselves, probably in the workplace, probably in the sports as well, that you probably... So examples of this, I actually was looking up some of the most common examples of toxic masculinity. As I said, mental and physical toughness. That's something that they expect us to do. Aggression, that's another thing. Stoicism, or displaying emotion. Heterosexualism, or discrimination against people who aren't heterosexual. Self-sufficiency, and emotional insensitivity. So out of all of us, guys, is there something that strikes to you here?
I can't talk about examples like that, but I can give you an example from my end of how I think toxic masculinity still exists. So, for example,
go on.
like you would never say, for example, what you do, certain things you do, like for yourself, you'll never tell your boys because you don't think it's manly. Like, there's no qualms about it. There's going to be things that we don't tell each other because you don't think it's manly. So, for example, if you've got like a skincare routine, you're not going to tell your boys about your skincare routine because that's not manly.
Fine boys, no pimple here, bro. I don't know
about your skincare routine, man. It needs a bit of work.
Wait, unless you're
like
American Psycho, have you guys seen that film?
Yeah.
Where he details every step by step the skincare routine.
Yeah.
That's a bit creepy.
But yeah, no, like now, or even nowadays, a skincare routine is alright. I feel like.
I agree.
See, that's the whole thing. That just there, what you just said there. Nowadays, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
See that?
Previously.
Previously was never. Now we feel comfortable talking about it because we're like, you know what? I don't want to have wrinkles when I'm like 60. I want to look after my skin. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care how silly that sounds.
Yeah, it only makes sense that you look after your clothes, like things like you look after every other aspect of
but
your
it's still,
being.
I don't think men's skincare like products or like facial products are promoted as much in the marketplace because it's not a manly thing to do.
No, it's not.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's true.
But that's like an example I can give you.
No, I agree, because I think now we all have our different, I think there's different, like you said, routines and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at people like Ronaldo. You can tell the man puts work into make himself look like that. And that's the thing. Like maybe sometimes people are selective. No one will go to him and be like, nah, but he does this too much. No, it's completely normal now.
Yeah, man. Body is a temple, and he's taking care of his temple to the utmost.
Exactly.
And it's working for him. Look at his age.
Yeah.
Look at the way he looks and plays, and the way peak fitness. The guys.
And to be honest, like it's an attractive thing to do. Like you know, like one of the things that helped me on my journey to personal development was kind of like putting myself in the perspective of like a woman. Like for example, like my girlfriend, for example, like her teeth is nice, her skin's nice, and then so.
All right, Kage. All right.
Sorry.
That's a skill, man.
Okay, but listen, hey, bro, tell us how is it? It's real lonely over here, fam.
It's good. It's good. I'm blessed in it. It's good.
That's good. I hate
So like in a way, I kind of want to be like a reflection of that. For example, so I feel like I have to look after myself, you know. But for my own reason, you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like my skin has to be nice. Like I do have, like, and yeah, I do have a skincare routine. I cut my hair like every week and a half or so. But for my own reason, because I feel
You got
like
money, boy.
You got a dollar.
But it's just how I prioritize myself, innit? Like in terms of like skincare and health, like I prioritize that over like unnecessary spending. Like, a lot of us don't realize
You
it.
look good, you feel good.
Yeah. But at the same time, like you attract the right things in your life. innit? Like you attract good opportunities. Like people look at you twice at least. You know what I'm saying? And like that person who looks at you could potentially be someone that will help you to like reach your goals, for example. You know what I mean?
But what you said there as well, like being with your partner, but you always want, not always want to, but you always kind of take on traits from people around you. That's because that's how humans are in it. So we pick off good bits from other people. So that's helpful that when you have someone like that around you, you can pick off good traits, especially from a female, because as you know, men don't do certain things.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be the best version of yourself. And once you're, like you said, when you're with your partner, the one thing that we all know is that a woman can change a man, no matter who the man is. It could be Vladimir Putin, bro. He'll be out here picking daisies. That's how the influence a woman can have over you. And they allow you to be the best version of yourself. And maybe the best version of us is breaking down that stigma, as you can clearly see from Kage's examples. And I'm pretty sure all you undercover mandem, you probably have stories where you've had females that have changed you for the benefit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but on top of that, I feel like a female in your life can kind of like accelerate the direction you're going to in your life. So if you're like let's say if you're already like a toxic person or someone who's already like only actively doing like one night stands, you're gonna attract that. If you're someone who doesn't care about yourself, and you're gonna attract like that type of caliber of females. But then like if you're someone actively looking after yourself, like you know, like you prioritize yourself well, your like finances.
Yeah, you only attract the energy that you are. That's how it works. It's always been like that.
Yeah, and then like obviously whatever female comes into your life, like she will accelerate. Like she'll help you to accelerate the direction of the life you're going.
In case you start a podcast on love life.
I know, innit? That's it. I love that. No, I like that, Kage.
He's our very own Kevin Samuels. Red pill male right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Gonna book a session in, mate.
I love that. So I'll just hit on that topic because I wanted to see the two sides of it when it comes to like you saying, because that's a spanner in terms of the female and that's been around us. And then when we talk about it a little bit later on, we'll talk about us as guys and we talk about the banter that we have and how light. Do you feel as though, Kage, you can mention this, all of us have all been in a relationship. Yeah. Do you feel as though sometimes your masculinity has to be to a certain level when you're with a female? Have you ever been in situations like that?
I think it depends. Like at the beginning, you always like, you need to be like, I don't know, sometimes it feels like you need to be like, show that you're a man, innit, at the beginning. You know, like,
Let me say it.
You pat yourself. At the beginning, I feel like, but then when you become more comfortable and you start to think like, okay, this doesn't need to happen now. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's comfortable. So I think there is different times. I'm not saying you become like bare regiment. I'm just saying at the beginning you want to like be a man, I guess. I don't know.
Chest out, everything at first.
Chest out.
That's it.
You can't really explain like how to be a man, but like going back to this, what you're saying at the beginning, like you also like the most you can do is show maturity, innit?
Yeah.
So for example, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we speak.
Right, that poetry's getting to him. Stop this. The poetry's getting to him.
That was sick.
Thank you very much. So like I'll be honest, like I felt that like me just listening more, innit? Like me listening more, as opposed to a passive aggression and toxic masculinity where you're just shouting and not willing to listen to what others got to say, and just like mocking and like with all this sarcasm and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you're not listening to yourself. Like the mistake that a lot of people make is they don't listen to themselves, innit? Or like they don't like, I'm a very analytical person, innit? Like they don't like analyze like, you know, like their weaknesses or like things they could have done better, you know, to improve or to prevent certain things from happening, because like toxic masculinity leads to like a lack of emotional control, right? Now, I understand that, yes, it's good to be open about how you feel, but then like because of like the whole like the way we've been conditioned to be a man. And not willing to listen and feel like you've got to show aggression. Like these things can block you from a lot of opportunities, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, like all because you was angry, you know, you could have made a certain amount of money, or you could have been able to like get a certain kind of car, or you know, or attract a certain type of.
A part of that is a process of learning from when you're a child to when you become a man. You obviously transition through and you start to learn that. Listen, like you need to be, when you mature, you pick up different traits, obviously, and you start to realize maybe listening more is better for me to, before I act, I need to take a step back and listen. But I think that comes with maturity as well. But yeah, I think what you said is a good point there. It definitely, if you don't listen, you act, it definitely is a bad recipe for disaster.
Because it shows immaturity,
yeah.
In opposed to feeling like you have to be a man, you just want to kind of show like maturity, you know what I mean? That's pretty much what it is.
No, of course. No, of course. You need to show, like, I always say personally, it's like what you were saying, sorry, I was cutting you off while you were talking there. It's literally listening to react and listening to understand. There's 2 different ways. If you listen to understand, you literally keep your mouth shut. You don't say nothing the whole time someone is talking to you, whether it's your boys, whether it's your peers, your partner, your mother as well. When you're listening to react, you're looking for slip-ups.
Yeah.
You're looking for any sort of, and I'm like, but I haven't even finished my sentence, but you're already cutting me off. And that's the thing, like you said, Kage, is the fact that we have to feel like we're always like in control. That's where the aggressive side comes out of us. Because one of the things I've noticed as well in terms of toxic masculinity is like we said, we always kind of like say certain things and you would hold it back and you let it build up, and that's what's bad. That's when things come out as aggression, because so many things have built up. It's like a dormant volcano, and you've had so many things that are just building up. Like me, for example, it's like I will be in a situation where I have said before that there's times where I don't speak when I'm going through something myself, and that's just me. Maybe it's the toxic masculinity myself in terms of I don't want to feel like I'm hopeless, but I know that there's times where someone will just keep getting at me and I'll explode a little bit, and that's not good.
You snap.
Do you get what I mean? And it's not good. And I'll speak honestly. It's happened to me a few times, and it's not good. Yeah, even then, sadly, there's even been a time where I would snap, and then I'm literally, you know, when you're going to bed and you're like, I'm sorry, mom. Like,
yeah,
I'm really sorry. Kind of exactly, and you feel like you didn't deserve this. This has nothing.
You don't understand why you behave like that.
Exactly.
Why do you do that?
But this is the thing, like a lot of people, we don't take responsibility, we don't hold ourselves accountable for this, right? So like, what obviously you're still growing, but like what I would do, let's say if I had a problem with someone, rather than letting it build up and then lash out in anger, like when the time comes, I'd rather just be honest and pull them aside and be like, excuse me, can we prevent this from happening? Like I'm not happy with this. Can you not do this, for example? Innit? You know what I'm saying?
Let me talk to you real quick, bro.
Yeah. Like
I'm outside, bro.
In a polite way.
You wanna go around the corner?
in a polite way, because the thing is, you know, one thing I learned, that people actually respect. Like people respect honesty. You know, people respect honesty, and like if you get to a point where you've let it build up and then you get angry and to a point that you don't want to listen, you show passive aggression, for example, like let's say you're the passive aggressive guy and I'm like someone who's more kind of grown up, I'll just listen to everything that you gotta say, and I'll just listen to everything you gotta say and probably not even want to say anything, because that's when because then later on you'll realize that you wasn't actually the bigger guy in the situation. You know what I mean? Like, you might start thinking, oh, right, like, shit, like, I messed up. And this happens a lot of times when a lot of guys realize, oh, like, it was my fault, or I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like after breakups, or like guys, oh, I fucked up, you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, it's true. It's very, very true. We hold back a lot. So this is the other thing, now that Kage has actually gone on to the other side of this, which I said, it would be nice for us to just, as much as we've said toxic masculinity is something that happens, especially when you're younger, I think it's still a very, very prevalent thing when it comes to like us as men as grown up. To be honest, maybe even worse as we've grown up, because what it is there's in certain situations, let's say, like you've got two neighbours, there's one guy over here, one guy's over, that guy's going to want to have a bigger car than him. That guy's going to want to have a better looking wife than him. That guy's going to want to have a thing. They never want to be like too happy for each other. How many times have you seen that even with our parents? They're like, it's nice what you got over there, Susie. And I'm like,
I don't think that's just with men though. I think
I know. And I think that's completely true. But what I'm saying is,
it's maybe what you call it, exaggerated when it's
of course. But that's what I'm saying is that now I'm just going on to the point of in terms of us as guys, there's certain terms that we do circulate, and I believe that. Not the correct terms, but in terms of when it comes to toxic masculinity, for example, the first one that everybody knows, I'm pretty sure everybody knows the term no homo.
Yeah.
How many times is that term?
You say that a couple of times a week.
Do you get like you say something like, for example, your boy's got some new clothes. Oh, bro, you got some new clothes. Or Archie, you've been going gym. No homo though. Why do you have to justify that at the end of the day? Why do we, like, honestly, guys, just between us, like, why do you feel like you have to say that? Why can you not just be happy for your...
Because you feel like someone's going to rip you for
exactly
saying...
what it is.
It's not necessarily you feel awkward about how... You don't think he's gay. You don't think he's gay, but it's like, oh shit, there's other people in the room, someone's going to rip me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. You're just on edge, innit? You don't know.
But where did this come from? Like, it's actually...
I think they're haters. I think...
That's right. Say it.
Man. For me, like, the positive way to look at this, when people like say that to me, I think you're just a hater, bro. If I say like, I'm being honest. If I say Archie, you look good today, man. Like, the hair looking good.
That does sound gay still.
But I guess I'm just like I'm comfortable with my sexuality, I guess, innit? And if you was to say, for example, like no homo, I'm just gonna look at you and think, bro, you're a hater, bro.
Yeah, what? Bro, Kage's gonna throw your shoe at you. That's what end up happening.
I get what you're saying.
I understand where you come from.
And Archie's right, it is that. I think you don't... when you're in a social circle, you don't want to be the guy that's going to get rinsed in the centre.
But why is it?
Because someone's going to get rinsed. That's the thing, because someone's going to get rinsed.
And listen, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, like, but why do we, like, why does that happen? Why do you have to say? Why can I not just say for myself personally? I like your clothes, I like your jacket, mate.
Steady on, man.
Can I not just say that? I don't understand.
You can, but I think where we try to always like banter each other or like just have bit of jokes. When you say that, like, what's gonna happen is someone's gonna make a comment, and then someone's gonna jump on the other comment. There's no malice. It's just banter, isn't it? So that to negate that, what you say is no homo, because you've put a card, like, you know when you're playing blackjack and someone puts a blackjack and you put a red one, you've kind of
I've done the job already.
nullified it.
Calm down, guys. I know what you mean.
But I think in our situation, just speaking from our group, I think it's because we banter each other, so we try to, like, not be. You don't want to get bantered.
Just from a level.
But from another perspective, I do get, it can be.
And I just want the listeners, obviously, to understand, like, we don't mean, for us as a group, we don't have any sort of opposed to whatever the situation is. Whether you're into this or that or this or that, that's completely fine.
More life,
we have no issue with it whatsoever.
We're for more life.
More life. That's why with
more
us,
life, more
as
health.
you can hear, we can joke about it.
That's our thing.
Different cultures, different backgrounds.
Because in all honesty,
we don't even like Rashid, really.
No, because like, let's say in all honesty, like, sometimes, like, I want to just like acknowledge someone or make someone feel like they actually, like, put in the effort. So like if I can't say, oh, bro, you look well dressed today, but it's okay for girls to say it. Like, why can't we?
Yeah, of course.
But here's the question: how many times have you actually complimented your boy? Probably not a lot.
No, not a lot.
Think about that. Girls always tell each other.
And I'll tell you the honest truth. I agree with you. this term, I think we're old as well, guys. I think we have to come to the terms of this is a very in 2012 or whatever, the younger generation. And that's when it comes to that maturity. Like we're saying, you can compliment, because for us personally, how I see it, a win for my boy is a win for me. That's how I see it.
That's how I see it.
There'll be times when I want to get something and I'll be like, Rash, what do you think? Exactly. Like, is this gonna look good? Like, you gotta ask, man, because you're not gonna know.
I sent you my shoes the other day. You said they were dead. I still bought them.
What shoes are they?
Hey, bro, you know the new Pumas. The future runner.
Oh,
yeah. They're hard, isn't it?
Okay.
Not the colourway Rashid got. Not the colourway.
Don't worry, bro.
I don't mess with Puma, innit?
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't listen to Priyesh, bro. He wears cat boots to work. So going on to the next point, which is something that I think we hear very, very prevalently, is I'm a guy, what do you expect? And it's funny because I actually wrote this down as a note when I was literally sitting in my own residence. I was like, damn, it's a mess. But I'm a guy, what do I expect? And I was like, damn, that's such a bad, that's a lazy like term.
It means you're not looking to like improve yourself, basically.
I 100% agree with you.
It just means that you're not willing to improve yourself. Real talk. You see, like people like when they say, "Oh, take me as I am," like if you're in a relationship or if you're a girl like trying to get to a guy and she says and he comes up with this like take me as I am actually like.
No, thank you.
Hold on, that works both ways. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and yeah, it works both ways because like you as a person, like you need to like you want to improve your life as well, and you know like you don't want to be around people like that, man.
Yeah, I think Rash, there's two things. It's one saying it to yourself to like justify your situation, but then I also think not in our case because none of us are like this. But when someone's done something bad and then they say, "I'm a guy, what do you expect?" Like, say for example, a male was cheating on his partner. And then they use that justification. Oh my God, what do you expect? That is not a right justification to use, but that's when it's wrong. That's what I'm saying. But if you're saying it to yourself, it's kind of just like you're just because you don't want to clean your room. Because usually you just say, "Oh my God."
To be honest, I didn't want it today. So
that's what I'm saying.
I'll take that out.
I think it depends what context it's used in. But that word, I guess it's a lazy thing to use. Lazy excuse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a lazy term.
It is a lazy term.
That's what it is. For example, I feel like this term is not just. I was using cleaning as an example. I think this also is associated with certain things like sports, for example, like Archie. You're probably one of the most active ones out of all of us. Like when you do mixed sports or something like that, and then you get maybe like put a little tackle in.
I see a lot, which is really annoying, and just like you even see it with like professional footballers where they like square up to each other and like handbags, innit?
Yeah.
And it's just like, just stop it, like, because you're not gonna actually do anything to each other. The ref's just gonna break it apart, and you're just like, it's just long. Like what you're doing, it just don't make sense. Like
it's theatrics.
It's
I've
theatrics.
seen it so
it's
many
annoying.
Times. What?
It's annoying.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah. So and you always have them type of guys in the team that just think they're hard. So
alphas,
any kind of like, cause bro, in football or in sport, you're gonna get taken out sometimes. Like there will be challenges that's not good challenges, but like they feel like they have to react to it.
Yeah,
and
just why did you tackle me like kind of thing? It's a contact sport. It's going to happen.
So
it's going to happen.
It's like that's like an annoying thing that I see, and it creates tensions and stuff because it's just like people just aren't trying to hear it. It's just annoying, like so. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Even in other things as well, in terms of popular choices, in terms of entertainment, what you do on a daily basis, types of music you like, types of movies you like, type of TV shows you like. And people will be like, "Oh, what do you expect?" Like me, I even said it myself. We were just discussing the new Marvel stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, which one do you like? Do you like Loki? Do you like this?" I was like, "I like what's it called? Captain America, because there's a lot of violence and action and stuff." And I was like, "I'm sorry, but that's just me as a man." And I was like, "Damn, that's really sad, but that's just me personally." And then I was like, certain terms you shouldn't have, but that's what I mean. That's an example of toxic masculinity. I literally just went for this, not even thought about the storyline or anything. I was like, I like people punching and I like people fighting. I like the raid. I like all these KFC, Kung Fu films. I'm all for that. So I think that's when it came to me. I don't know. People liking Justin Bieber is a perfect example. Yeah. Bieber's an artist. Yeah, people will never admit that.
Yeah, that kid's talented, man. Like you don't make music that charts like that if you're not talented. Like,
yeah,
he's talented.
Very, very, very true. And then the last one, which I think is one of the most dangerous terms that we have in our society, is boys will be boys. Exactly. Archie Snickers is everything. Because we've heard this so many times, guys. And it's really, really sad. Like, we've heard it so many times.
I've heard it so many times, but I can't like quite put my finger on what situation I've heard that in.
Yeah.
But I've definitely heard it more than once.
I think I've heard it more towards younger kids than like men nowadays. In like a boy will like hit another boy. Oh, boys will be boys.
That's what they do.
Do you get what I mean? Like something happens with one kid, gets in a fight with it. Boys will be boys. Or when they're teenagers, boys will be boys. You know how it is, but
I feel like I'm more like poignant term, like for our demographic or just like in general is like the notion of nice guys finish last. I feel like that's the most toxic concept to put into men's minds.
But hold on,
do
you think there's any truth to that in whatsoever?
I think meek or weak guys finish last.
But not nice guys.
I don't feel like being nice. Like, what you know what I mean? Like, being nice is just being polite, manners, like these kind of things. It's like you can't go wrong with manners. Like, you know, with coming with manners. If you approach someone with manners, you can't
that whole phrase makes people not want to be nice, and that is the whole issue right there.
Makes you think
because you're like, I can't be like.
I've got to be aggressive. I've got to be assertive. I've got to, I've got to have a certain tone. I've got to have a certain energy.
Emotionally shut myself away from things. Yeah,
because you associate nice with weak. Which is
not good. It's not right.
Yeah.
Two different things, two separate things. Absolutely.
No, I completely agree. And just that term, like you said, boys will be boys, is basically just saying like whatever you do now is completely acceptable.
Yeah, that's a free pass. Get like a jail free card.
It's literally and it's not okay. And
it's not okay. It's not okay for like in school, for example, like if a teacher were like said boys will be boys.
Teachers do that as well, you know. They use that phrase as well. Like if there's a little fight in a school, in a classroom, boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys, you know how it is, mate.
Yeah. No, that's not acceptable, man.
It's not, and even in the
and parents as well. Like parents that accept that. Look, like it is the teachers to blame. Well, I don't like to like point things and blame, but then like teachers and parents got they need to they need to hold themselves accountable for that. In other words, basically,
No, I agree.
Obviously, I understand like the context that we're saying this in, but I do want to make the point as well that like as men or boys or like we've got more testosterone, we play fight, this is how we explore our environment more so than the girls would do it differently, innit? But guys, like you test your strength, you test these things, innit? There's nothing wrong with that. Because like you see all like judo, all them things, all them mad like things, like those are all like they're important, innit? Like you have to test you have to be physically.
You got to be physically.
But that's a biological trait that's natural, that occurring. Like,
so I don't feel like there's boys fight and it's wrong that they fight. Like I think it's correct that they fight. I feel like certain things get resolved in fight. I feel like fighting is natural as well. You see all throughout the animal kingdom, like fighting is natural. But like the context that we're saying boys will be boys is just like
to use it as justification for any like bad behaviour is not great. Like if they do something silly, like really like that goes against everything, and you're like, we'll just use that phrase because it matches, and you can't be doing that kind of stuff.
It's not okay, and that's what I mean. Is in that, like you said, it's conditioned in us. If we do this from a younger age, I think we need to be careful about how we do this, because even now, the society we live in, we need to not forget for us, as we say, we're not experts, but we need to protect our young women as well. This kind of term can really translate over to that, and us as men, we need to be able to educate ourselves and also educate our sons, our nephews, or whatever, just for them to understand that this term, it's not. Don't take it literally word for word for it, and digest it into your own sort of definition. So, just going on to that, I was thinking maybe we could, just to close it off, maybe give us some points in terms of how you guys may have thought how we can tackle this whole masculinity situation.
One of the things that I would say is that if someone tried to tell you that like what you're doing is not manly, like whether it be like your art or something you like you know, don't care about what they say, innit? Like because it's so easy that like a lot of us are like Play-Doh, or a lot of us get shaped like clay. But we let the opinions of other people mold us right. You know what I'm saying? In other words, what I'm trying to say is just do you, and don't care what people think, innit? You know what I'm saying? Because like when you when you let it get to you, you know, like it affects you to feel like you gotta live for other people. It makes you feel like you can't be real to yourself in other ways. In the most polite way to say it, you know.
And what about like the conversations? I don't know, Archie. What kind of conversation do you think we should be?
Yeah, you're obviously talking with your friends is why we're doing this as well. Like talking with your friends and other people, like, is important in dealing with these kind of issues, is because you're not gonna have the answers to everything yourself, and you're not gonna like live long enough to make all the mistakes that you need to make and learn from. So at some point you have to learn from other people's mistakes as well, and like be able to like take their advice on board. Like, yeah, even like I remember like recently, like little quick story at the end, like about toxic masculinity is like so this girl that I really liked, like probably the first girl I really liked like that, told her I liked her, wasn't reciprocated, and that really hurt. So I couldn't digest it all myself, so I reasoned with a bell about it, and it really helped.
There you go.
It just I don't even like. It's not like he said anything that changed my life, but it just helped
To have that,
it
conversation.
helped for him to hear it.
Because what you do
some of the burden,
is have a conversation in your head, and then it gets peaked.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to yourself,
Yeah.
and it's getting peaked. But if you talk to someone else, it's much better.
And why that's an example of toxic masculinity as well was like, because so I held the initial rejection, right? And certain time passed, and then like she kind of came back.
This always happens. It jars me.
And my ego wouldn't accept it. I just couldn't. And even though I feel like that might have been a wrong decision, or it may be a wrong decision, or you know what I'm saying, I just feel like I should have given it a chance, but I wasn't strong enough to.
Yeah, 100.
Because your ego's been bruised.
It was too tough.
Yeah.
It was too tough.
But I think that's natural. We're all like, I'm like that.
There's plenty of work to be done. Innit?
Yeah,
Like,
to fix
you know,
up.
we still got space to like
That's the
learn
next
more.
point. Like Archie said, there's plenty of work to do. Like, I'm not saying my advice, but what I would say is do the work. Do the work, do your research, find yourself, do the things you need to do to develop yourself as a person. I'm not saying go out there, like go travel the world and then, you know, I'm going to go find myself, I'm going to go like Indonesia. I'm not saying do them bits.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, I don't know, pick up a book, have a little read of something that interests you about being a man or whatever, or something that you've been interested in.
Or personal development.
Personal development, growth, explore new things like exercise if you haven't already, meditation, these kind of tools that can help you to calm yourself down and be that kind of person that you want to get to. And yeah, I think basically just do the work. Just have a look around, do the research, and yeah, maybe you can help yourself to become less toxic if you're finding yourself to be in that situation.
No, that's very good advice, lads. And for me personally, the one thing that I've noticed is, just like Kage said, is I feel like the space I'm in, I'm slowly building up my mental strength, and I'm slowly just being accepting everything that comes in my life. As in, there's certain things I can't control, and I can't be upset about that. There's certain things that just happen in life, and I can't be just holding it all in. And for me to help me do that is daily. I have my affirmations on my wardrobe before I leave my house, before I do whatever. And it literally breaks it down. Like, I am loved by others. I love others.
Very important.
Certain things in my life I can't control, but I just have to deal with it.
There's a good point on that. Just when we're going to finish, just leave you a little quote or like a sub quote. So Sadhguru says the same thing. He says, things outside you shouldn't affect you. You need to build yourself in a way that only you can affect yourself from the inside. Anything external should not be affecting you. Because when you're inside, when you're good with yourself, none of the external things can affect you. None of the L's you think are L's are not L's.
Exactly.
They cannot affect you.
Big facts.
Sadhguru, I love that.
Sadhguru.
And that's what I mean, like, just for me personally, and that's what's really helped me in terms of toxic masculinity nowadays. I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. You can't rip me, I'm ready for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. That's how I look at things. And it's been a good episode, guys, honestly, and I hope that we try and break this stigma, because it's a big elephant. It's a very, very big elephant in the room, and that's something that needs to be tackled. And hopefully those listeners will do their part, and those of us as well will do our part as well. But thank you very much for joining us again this week, guys. It's been an adventure. We're still going to come at you every week with a few episodes just to keep you updated on how life is going. We're going to be doing some stuff outside of the actual auditory and the video as well. So keep an eye on our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you stay in touch with us at Man Up 4 on a weekly basis. Thank you very much, guys.